Here we go, the Burning Success, a wrestling podcast. Bam, bam. Push the wrong button. That's all right. We'll edit that.
All right.
We'll edit that out. It's okay.
Don't edit. Leave it.
Okay.
Leave it.
Listen,
People need to know that we're just trying.
Yeah, that's right. That's okay. The worst case, I will edit it, but maybe I'll keep it. I'm Kevin Success. Along with me is Steve Hamlin. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yes.
Doing real good.
Awesome. Love to hear it. It is going to be a co-host podcast, myself and Steve Hamlin, also known as Steve Hamlin, the Burning Dragon, Steve Hamlin. So this is exciting.
And the burning success.
Hence the Burning Success. Thank you. Maybe I'll hand it off to you, and maybe you can give us a little bit of background on what our podcast is and what direction we're going and what we're going to do tonight.
I think we're just two wrestling fans who have been friends for 18, 19 years, and throw our hat in the ring, so to speak, for this podcast championship. We're trying to reach people and tell funny stories and give our opinions because no one else wants to listen. So hopefully someone out there does. Everybody who lives is tired of hearing it.
And I think we'll find somebody. There's got to be some, people that can relate to us. I think you brought up a good point. We had discussed a little bit before this podcast. So with our background, I have limited experience with professional wrestling, specifically WWE, and even still, maybe the last 10 or so years, I've watched, and maybe a little bit longer. Where you, on the other hand, have a great deal of experience, and not just in WWE or greater than this last decade, several decades, but different promotions and everything. So I think it's going to be interesting. Where throughout, I think our journey and this podcast I'll get to learn a lot and get to experience some different things, and get to see your perspective on items. So I kind of wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I should have said that when we were discussing it. That was my whole thing was, hey, let's see how everybody's fandom's different, and when we do the rare occasion or the the rare occasion that we do have guests, sorry, their fandom will range too. I'm a 20 some odd year fan. I've watched pretty I don't want to say religiously, but pretty religiously from 1996 until 2002, small break, back into the action. I think that's how a lot of wrestling fans are when you're young. I think they go through a lull period. They just quit watching, kind of grow out of it. Sorry for the clear my throat. But so I think it's going to be interesting coming from my background. I've seen most of the shows that we're going to review, and you have not, and you compare your, you call it limited knowledge, limited fandom from what you've seen since 2006, 7.
I think it's fair. Yeah, that's when I was pretty much in high school, and that's what I remember.
A little sprinkling of stuff seeing, and then take you back into the 90s and the 80s even maybe. I've watched ROH, AEW, WWE, TNA, Mid-South, all the territories, New Japan. I had New Japan World for a while. There's my fandom is extensive, I guess is what I would call it. And I know that we all have wrestling friends that a lot of our relationship based off wrestling. That's what really held it together. And I think that a lot of people who are fans out there will gravitate towards finding out, like, there's a bunch of these groups of buddies out there that you got the one super wrestling fan, you got the one ultimate wrestling fan, you got the one fan that comes over because he likes to watch his other buddies watch two dudes wrestle in the ring and make fun of them, and you got people like my wife who's been a fan for 15 years now, but I got her into it, so I've kind of cultivated her fandom, and it'll be interesting to see her take on things. She has the same opinion as me, or she's garnered her own. I know we got buddies from backyard wrestling because we're cool.
We wanted to do it ourselves.
Yeah, you ain't wrong. And we did,
Yeah.
we did really.
Yeah.
We had a nice little federation.
Yeah.
Is that what
We could call it that.
can you call it a federation when it had no capital?
Right. Or no real organization to begin with. Sure.
At all.
At all.
Does it look weird? Does this not the does this look weird doing that burning right on my face?
I don't know. I think it kind of looks cool. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they get the point. It's a mic, anyways. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's I was just curious. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and you bring up a good point. Not only you, for one, mentioned even Japan, so we're not even talking about just the United States, but globally, the different organizations and promotions I have an experience with, and I also wanted to, you know, the fact that you made that there's more than likely a lot of people in that situation where there are different levels of fandom, and I think that's where we can find a lot of relation with other folks that hopefully we can reach out to. Our different level just within this podcast, like you mentioned, your wife, myself, and you. Same thing out there. Those who haven't been really, maybe they don't know much about wrestling, maybe they are huge fans, maybe they got their own friends or whatever. So I think that's going to be our target audience, and I think people will relate to this podcast a lot. So I kind of wanted to highlight that too, and what you mentioned, and definitely second that. But yeah, what else you got?
Well, I think that why don't we give them a quick rundown of what they're going to see over the next few episodes? I think what our main focus is going to be is reviewing some older shows, kind of breaking you into the business, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, we'll watch shows, we'll review them, we'll talk shit, give our opinion, laugh, and then throughout we're going to sprinkle in a little bit of you know knowledge for of us, some history. As I said, we've had 20 years to build that up and come up with stories, and we can tell. It won't always be wrestling related, and do nothing but watch wrestling. Well, hell, actually, I think you and I have only ever watched like 5 pay-per-views together.
Yeah, out of like you said, like the 18, 16, 18 years. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, but that's crazy because like even though I was a huge fan, we hung out with a bunch of other huge fans. You would come to watch some of the pay-per-views. You'd still come back and wrestle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still talk about it, text about it,
Yeah.
discuss it when we were in person.
Yeah.
But your fandom wasn't to the extreme that ours were.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how you look back at things, whereas me and like an Adam or a Josh or somebody who have watched older stuff or remembers our childhood fondly, you look back with kind of rose-colored glasses,
Mhm.
and you're like, the Attitude Era, oh my god, the Attitude Era, oh my god, and then you go back and you watch it, and you're like, ooh. Okay, maybe it was really cool because I was 9.
Exactly.
And I liked doing the crotch chop.
And
Maybe it was, the quality of the match was probably pretty good, but
yeah, limited to the quality. But that's the thing, like you mentioned earlier too, and I think everybody does hit that spot where you kind of like realize, maybe even as a kid, you eventually realize, okay, there's some script here and predetermined, what's going to happen in the match. But you make a good point. I think there is a point in time in our lives where you kind of, so to speak, grow up and realize, why am I into this so much? And then you kind of, you get burned out, but then you do get back into it.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you make a valid point too, that when you go back and reminisce and look at these matches that you grew up watching, like you said, Attitude, or oh man, this is awesome. But maybe the way your psychology or the way your perspective is on things, you look at it and you go, like you said, the match was great, but it doesn't make sense. Why are they doing this? Or writing's garbage, whatever. So I think that's what'll be great about this podcast too, is it'll give us the opportunity to go back and discuss and open eyes, and then things. So that's something I look forward to in this podcast as well. Yeah, definitely.
I think that's going to be cool, and I was thinking about this, and I've talked to Alyssa about it. Alyssa is my wife, but and I've talked to her, and I said it's going to be crazy because I'm a jaded wrestling fan because I've been a wrestling fan for so long, and then I became a smart mark, and then I'm in on the joke. You know what I mean? So I have a different perspective than you do because I watch majority WWE, but everything. and then you're not as a hardcore fan, so you won't break a match down quite the same way that I do, where, I'm in the I'm in the school of thought, like, "Oh, that was a botch," or, "Oh, they could have done that," or, "Oh, that's a callback," or, "Oh, you know, so and so did that better in whatever match," just because I've watched so much that my brain doesn't allow me all the time to turn that off and just enjoy it as a fan.
Yeah.
Whereas you have that pleasure,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, it's
possibility.
yeah, and again, it's that perspective, and I feel like that is similar to maybe like an editor for maybe for novels who does their job of editing books, right? They're reading as a job to determine whether or not the book that they're editing, or you know, whatever, for an author or whatever, and they don't get the opportunity to actually enjoy the story. They're doing it as a job. So when you have that train of thought where you can't enjoy it anymore, like you're saying, you look at it, as maybe more objectively, or again, like you mentioned, if there's a botch here, or whatever else, you don't get to actually enjoy it as pleasure. Where yes, I still do have the that I don't know, that kid in me where yeah, I can enjoy the matches to what it is. I mark out easily. I like faces. I can just enjoy how it's going with the flow. And I will look for botches on, whether I'm trying to or not. It is hard to not notice anymore, especially with high def TV now. You can't really hide things as much, or as easy anymore. So they got to really be careful with that. But outside of that, yeah, the psychology of it and everything, I don't need to go into that. I still enjoy the way it is. So that's another
Right,
excellent
and
point to bring up.
and to further that, I know people who never, let that go, that never enjoy it as a fan and never, um, kinda turn that aspect of it off. Like, sometimes you just have to let go of your cynical mind and just enjoy it. It's entertainment. These guys are being goofy. They're meant to play a role. They don't do, some of them don't take it as serious,
Mhm.
and us as fans, we take everything as life or death. Excuse me, life or death. Like, "Oh, why haven't they put the title on so and so? They're gonna waste it. They're gonna do whatever."
Mhm.
And that guy's still getting paid good money. It's not like back in the territory days where the champion gets, you know, more money because he's the champ. These guys are all on, basically guaranteed contracts.
Yeah, regardless if they
So
go 0-100 or 100-0, certainly. Yeah,
right, so, and they're not guaranteed, they're downside guarantees, but
nah.
I don't know how that works with streaming anymore either, to be exact, but
Oh, contract wise, you mean?
yes,
Yeah.
contract-wise, like, it used to be a downside guarantee, so they'd pay you by the venue, they'd pay you
Oh,
by
okay.
your merch sales,
Yeah.
and then the pay-per-view, like, and a lot of wrestlers talked about, like, their WrestleMania payday would determine how much they make a year because WrestleMania is the big show that garnered the most money, the biggest gate, the biggest merch, the biggest whatever, and then 2 or 3 months after that, they'd get a WrestleMania check, and that would determine if they were gonna have a good year or not. And at this point, I don't think it's that way. At this point, most of those guys are probably making 6 figures,
Yeah.
even on a downside guarantee.
Yeah. Okay. And I know you'll see leaks every once in a while of folks who think they know how much they get paid. And they'll break down the salaries for each, you know, performer.
Yeah, I look at those and I think,
Yeah.
like,
No, no, it can never be
you guys
confirmed.
you guys are just guessing. I don't think it's public
Exactly.
knowledge.
Yeah. And it shouldn't
I don't
be.
think
Yeah. It
it's
really should. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, see, yeah, those are the things I think that'll be really interesting on this podcast that we'll get to touch on and kind of expand on, and I'll get to learn a lot down the line and develop my own opinions and everything, and hopefully we can attract other viewers for the same way. So
Right,
that's
and
exciting. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's exciting. I just wanna mention one thing before we wrap this up and jump into our first episode. I did wanna mention that I think telling stories about our backyard wrestling will be I think that's gonna be more popular than we think
Yeah.
because everyone backyard wrestles.
Yes.
There's
Let's
not
be honest.
I don't know anybody that didn't backyard
Yes.
wrestle
Yes.
and do dumb stuff, and we just happen to do it in a more organized fashion, and we happen to recorded on VHS and digital,
Hmm.
and we used to have our own website, and you can find it on YouTube.
Hmm.
Speaking of YouTube, I have 4,000 views on YouTube
For one
as the
particular
most
match.
successful NBWA superstar of all time. 4,000 views, baby.
And that's just one particular match in NBWA. That was our organization.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I don't know where New Blood Wrestling Association or Alliance or
I think it was Alliance TV.
Algorithm.
Algorithm.
Yeah, I think it was Alliance.
I wasn't. I'll be honest. I wasn't the biggest fan but I get the point of the name, the New Blood. You know, where the new guys coming in. I guess. I don't know.
I was not a big fan either. No,
We're
but when you're 16 and 17 and you got to put blood in there or hell or
yeah.
destruction.
Those are the.
You're
Those
just
are
trying
the.
to.
Yeah.
You're
Those are
just
the
trying
packaging
to
names.
sound.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we thought we were.
I mean,
But and I call it the glory days. I mean, I'll go back and watch the old matches, or I got the VHS in my basement and I watch those. And every once in a while, I'll text Josh and be like, "Dude, we could have been something.
we were that close. We should have kept going.
Me and him were gonna actually. Side note: me and him were gonna join a wrestling school.
School, yeah.
NWF.
Oh, really?
You remember that? You remember that little indie or that little local indie we went to?
Yeah, that was the only one that I've ever gone to outside of like a mainstream place. Yeah, I do remember that. That would have been pretty neat to do. So they train you too. That's not just a promotion like an organization just to do it. They actually train you and you learn.
Yeah. They have a school. It's called Bone Crusher, and
Oh, okay.
it was ran by. Damn, I used to know his name. But sorry, I made that noise.
It's okay.
But he was. I'm not gonna remember his name, but anyway, he ran the show. John Moxley trained there.
Really?
No,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
Dean Ambrose, John Moxley.
Yeah.
And then me and Josh were going to do it, but at the time it was like $2,800.
Oh, really?
Like that. And then they didn't guarantee you anything. That's like
Right.
pay us $2,800, and
Mhm.
you come in, you take bumps, and run your ass off, and
Yeah.
we'll throw you on this NWF show, and then you get paid $8 a night, or here's a hot dog and a handshake, and go on your way.
Yeah.
And I think back sometimes, and Alyssa even told me like, yeah, you should have done it. That would have been cool. But
I mean, worst case, let's say it
it
doesn't
ain't
turn
over till it's over.
And
It ain't over till it's over. I can start training tomorrow.
I think you will, won't you? That's
I
the
might.
thing, though.
I might.
Even if you didn't go very far, it would have been the experience of a lifetime. So,
Right.
but at the same time, like you said, I mean, I'm assuming maybe you were in your early 20s or even before then. $2,800 is a lot. That's a big investment. So,
Right. And I mean, I was working, and I probably could have done it. 'Cause I was living at home.
yeah.
But at the time, it's like $2,800. I'm a dumb kid. I'm just spending it on dumb shit, mostly McDonald's.
There you go. Anyway, $2,800 worth of McDonald's.
And the other thing is, you think wrestling school is really going to cut into my McDonald's?
Your McDonald's fund, your budget.
Yeah.
But you do think the long run, who knows? Maybe $2,800 could have turned you into a successful superstar, and you would have been millions.
Oh, I think for sure.
Yeah.
I think if I'd have really put, I think I had a mind for business. Maybe everybody thinks that.
Well,
Maybe everybody thinks they have a mind for the business when they're a fan.
But that they have to. For those who really want to make it, you have to. You can't half-ass it. You can't just, I'm in it, going to try it. We know that it takes blood, guts, and then some. So, like you said, it's not over till it's over. So,
right. You never know.
You never know.
NBWA, the return.
Yeah, version 2.0. Yeah.
I was actually I was going to buy a wrestling ring probably 2.5 years ago.
That would have been
I
awesome.
had a real good tax return, and had a little bit of money saved up, and the tax return hit. And I was looking at rings. I found a ring for, I think the ring was $4,200 delivered,
awesome.
all the pieces.
Yeah.
And I had to just set it up in my backyard. And, my lovely wife was like, yeah, you can do it. Buy yourself a ring. Buy yourself a wrestling ring. I said, you realize if I get a wrestling ring, I'm inviting everyone over here, and I'm going to be out there taking bumps. and then I'm not going to be able to go to work.
And in your line of work, it wasn't sitting at a desk either, so that would have been an issue.
Right. I'd been out in a ditch, not able to move.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you guys don't understand. I lost the title last night. I can't be doing this.
They would be understanding, I'm sure. Take the rest of the day off.
You guys don't know what it's like to have the book and the championship.
Yeah. You don't know the grind.
Yeah, I'm like Dusty Rhodes. You guys don't even understand.
You don't even understand. Oh, that's a bummer. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, though. Never happened. He never got that ring. But again, it's not over till it's over. So
Right. Hey, if this podcast takes over, I'm gonna have the money off this buy me a ring.
yeah, get you a ring. Heck, charge people to use it. We can start our own promotion. Who knows? That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So
go back, do a little kitty campus.
The kitty campus. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about our kitty campus days and what that means, and maybe we could even bring up videos and watch them together and laugh at them on this podcast.
They're on YouTube.
They're on YouTube. We should. As a matter of fact, we'll include that in the description of the podcast, the YouTube site, where we're able to upload and save some of our, as you call it, glory days. So
Well. Do you want to tell them what the first pay-per-view we've decided to review it? You got anything for it?
Yeah, so basically for our first real episode outside of our introduction that we're doing here, we are going to be doing WWF In Your House Mind Games. Remind me, 97 or 96? I keep forgetting.
It was 96.
It was
1996.
Okay. Main event, Shawn Michaels and Mankind.
October, I believe.
In October. Here's the other thing. Throughout this podcast, we're going to find that Steve Hamlin really is an encyclopedia of all content. So that'll be interesting to see and see how impressive his knowledge is on things that most people probably shouldn't need to know.
Hopefully it's not too embarrassing, but I do have a weird kind of way of like remembering things. I remember real quick the first pay-per-view we ever watched together.
Really? I can tell you I don't. And like you said, we've only seen like 5.
Yeah, we've seen like 5. I know I can name 3 that we watched for sure, but the first one we ever watched was the Great American Bash 2006. And it was the Undertaker versus the Big Show in a Punjabi prison match.
Oh my goodness!
And that's not looking that up. That's just off memory.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, who remembers that? Who remembers that? And I can't. I mean, was that even a good match? I can't imagine. I mean, Big Show's okay. Undertaker's great. Punjabi's not my favorite kind of theme match.
No, that was a dumb thing. It was supposed to be him versus Khali, the Great Khali,
which would make more sense. That's his thing.
But they were like, "Hey, we don't want the Undertaker to actually die, so it's gonna be a Big Show."
Let's be honest. He was kind of a brutal.
Yeah, he actually killed. Well, I don't know if he killed a guy, but the guy did die in the ring with him after like
against Great Khali.
Yeah, I believe it was in India.
Oh wow,
wherever he's from, Punjabi.
Someone looked that up.
Yeah, guy died. He died.
That's crazy. Can you imagine? Wow.
There's been quite a few people who died in the ring actually.
I knew the Rey Mysterio a little bit ago. It was between his days in WWE. Actually saw the video of it. The guy had a heart attack in the middle of the 619 move. He was supposed to dodge the 619, but he stayed on the ropes, and you could tell Mysterio didn't know what the heck was going on. And then they came over and rushed over to him, and he was dead right there. Had a heart attack apparently. It's the only time I've ever heard or known of anybody dying in the ring outside of freak accidents like
Mitsuharu Misawa. He died in the ring.
No, I don't know. Is that Japan?
Yeah. What happened? All Japan and Noah.
Yeah.
He was in a tag match, and he might have been late 50s.
A little older.
Late 50s. He was wrestling and had a heart attack.
Wow, same thing, heart attack. Wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I just can't imagine being someone in the ring and just having a body in there. Like, what do you do? How do you recover from something? Yeah. But yeah,
pushing to the side, the match has got to go on.
I mean, yeah, you can't just stop in the middle of it, At least kind of.
Well, I mean, I think they did, but I'm like, man, I'd have pinned the guy.
That's a guaranteed victory. I'm not editing that out.
He didn't kick out.
He didn't kick out. Count it. It's in the books now. Ring the damn bell. Oh goodness. Well, that was a tangent, but
that guy's done.
uh, that was yeah. So basically, going back to our original conversation, right? That way you were telling us the first pay per view we ever seen. I don't remember it. The Great American Bash of I think you said, what did you say? 06?
2006. Yes, sir.
2006.
2006.
Yeah. I remember the WrestleMania we watched together. I feel like that was Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. That match was amazing.
It would have been WrestleMania 25.
Yeah, 25, WrestleMania 25. Pretty impressive. Um, I can't really remember any other.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
I feel like I know we watched. It was Extreme Rules. It might have been called One Night Stand at the time, but it was like 2008.
I remember ECW.
2007.
Okay, so a year after the Great American Bash. Okay.
Yes, it was John Cena versus the Great Khali, I believe.
Oh, go figure. Wow. I'm assuming.
Actually, it wasn't a bad match.
Yeah,
Cena was pulling out some bangers with these guys that you wouldn't expect, like the Great Khali.
Yeah, that's
Get at it,
hard to
dude.
work. Yeah. I'm assuming he FU'd him or attitude adjustment him.
Yeah, off the stage, I believe.
I think I remember that. Yeah, it was a big one. I think I do remember that.
We did. So there was a stretcher match on that.
Stretcher match.
I think there was a stretcher match. My memory's failing me now.
Well,
damn it! It just cracked me up.
Maybe that'll be one that we can review because that sounds pretty awesome. Those Extreme Rules days where they came back for a little bit. But yeah, our first pay per view, Mind Games, and it's exciting. It's a decent lineup from what we've looked at, and I'm sure from what you remember. I of course had to go back and look at it all. Again, that main event match is pretty amazing. So definitely.
Is that the first time you ever watched it?
It is. I don't know that I knew about. What I did find out is that's the only pay per view that Shawn Michaels and Mankind or Mick Foley or whoever ever had together, which is crazy. As amazing as that match was, yeah. Apparently, they never had another pay per view again with each other. But
kind of right after that, they went to right after that comes Hell in the Cell.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, with the Undertaker and was that Undertaker?
Well, actually, that's the next year. That's 97. That's
okay.
The next year's band.
Okay.
But still, I mean, it's in the it's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get Vader in there as the top heel.
Mm-hmm.
And after SummerSlam, with Sean kicking you in the head and calling him fat, stuff like that. Yeah. But no, the Mind Games overall was a decent show.
Yeah.
It was the In Your House, so they were a little shorter. They were a little cheaper, but they only made them 2 hours long, which was nice. And I'm sure my parents didn't mind spending 20 instead of 30.
Right.
I got in my notes here just a couple of things. Are you ready to jump into Mind Games?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump right in. I'm ready.
Okay. Well, overall, what kind of grade did you give the show? What do you think, just off the top?
Doing A through F, like A, B, C, D, F. Is that what we want to do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
You can do that, or you can give it like a 5. You can give the whole star ratings, the whole show's star ratings if you want.
Okay. And not to make it more complicated, out of 5 or out of 10?
No, out of 5 stars.
5 stars.
And or A, B, C, D, E, F. And then we're going to put G in there.
G as well. A, B, C, D.
It's our show.
Yeah, okay. So we have 6. I'm going to stick with the stars. I think it's going to be easier for me.
I think I'm going to do letter grades.
You rather do letter? You know what? Let's do both. Because if you're including G, that's 6. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's actually 7. No, that's 6.
All right, how math works is you do 0, 1.
I didn't even do 0. I started at 1. God damn it.
Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, no.
A, B, C, D, E.
A, B, C, D, F.
Okay. A, B, C, D, F. That's 5.
Or 5 stars.
Or 5 stars.
Yes.
Overall, and again, I think we should keep in mind that it wasn't a normal pay-per-view. It was an in your house. So, like you said, it was
an in your face.
And in your face. So it was a little bit shorter. I think it's fair to give it like a 3.8, maybe closer to 4, mostly because of the main event. So maybe A B C D E or A B C D, maybe like a B minus. I think.
A B minus.
I
Okay.
think a B
Okay.
minus. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that overall? Is that your enjoyment of it?
It
Give it
is
a B minus, you
overall.
think?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
granted, some of the matches were very basic, and I know we're going to get into it a little bit. So, and of course, like we mentioned, the main event was really spectacular. Um, but I think it was just overall was pretty entertaining, and I think it went through. Nothing was really too slow for me in my perspective. But again, that's my brain, so not as
Right.
analytical. What do you
I
think?
think I'd give it. I think I'd give it like. Came out of nowhere. I think I'd give it like a 3.5 stars.
Yeah, 3.5. So we're pretty
The
close.
main event match should have been 5 stars.
Agreed.
It was
Agreed.
really good.
And
But
I might even
and
say 4. I hated the ending. I wish there was an
yeah,
actual.
that's
Yeah.
what really hurt it.
Agreed. Agreed. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry. I forgot to tell you my.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, my opinion, it's a good show. There's a lot of fun stuff on it. Jim Cornette being in a match is just hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, but there's also a couple weird things like none of the promos hit, none of the promos landed. Undertaker versus Goldust was kind of weird.
Yeah. That was strange.
It was kind of a weird match. And then that Sean promo was a little strange. I mean, we'll get into that when we get to the main, but
Mhm.
like I said, overall, it wasn't, once again, going back, everybody talks about the main event, so then the whole show's like, oh, it's Mind Game, dude. That's a good pay per view.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, two decent matches. Three if you count Undertaker and Goldust as decent,
Yeah.
as passable.
Right. And I think and I don't know how you feel about Goldust. I like Goldust's moveset and the way he executes. He is a strange wrestler altogether. Yeah. We both
Yeah,
like Undertaker. You can't really not like Undertaker, to be honest. But
probably my favorite wrestler of all time.
right. And actually, I thought he was on there. I've got Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin. But yeah, I knew that was your favorite wrestler. Um, but I agree, the match was kind of strange. It just didn't have that feel. And remind me, was there a feud even between the two, or was it just one of those matches they put them together for?
Are you talking about the Undertaker and Goldust?
And Goldust, yes, yeah, yeah.
Well, what had happened is Undertaker and Mankind had the Boiler Room Brawl
Yeah.
at SummerSlam,
Yeah.
and Undertaker was going to win, and then Paul Bear turned on him,
Hmm.
turned his back, wouldn't give him the urn because in order to win the Boiler Room Brawl, you had to retrieve the urn.
Ah, ah.
But so instead of that happening, he turns his back, ends up hitting Undertaker with the urn. Mankind wins, and then a bunch of people come out and throw Undertaker in a casket,
Okay.
beat him up, and one of the it's just they were just putting all the weirdos with like you got Goldust, Mankind, the Executioner, Bam Bam Gordy, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, and all these people because in the following, you know what, that might have been September because it might have been October they did Buried Alive, which is the next pay per view after this one.
Yeah.
It's called Buried Alive, and it's Undertaker and Mankind in a Buried
Mankind.
Alive
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it was all just to build to that, and
Yeah.
but they wanted Mankind to work Sean, and so it's like, who can we put in there to go with Paul Bearer? Let's go ahead and put in another weird oddity kind of,
I see.
strange, scary character.
I.e. Goldust.
Yeah, scary, yeah.
That makes
But
sense.
I was never a big fan of the Gold. I mean, I like
Yeah.
Shattered Dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dustin's a hell of a worker,
I think so.
and he did what he was supposed to do. Like that
Yeah.
was the character. He was supposed to be weird and make you uncomfortable. So I guess technically it was a success, but at the same time, I just was never a big fan. It never struck a chord with me.
Yeah. And I think I remember seeing a shoot or an interview of some sort. I guess he didn't even like that character, which would be hard to like. Because again, like you said, I mean, he is a great wrestler. It's a very odd, peculiar kind of character for sure. Um,
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always heard that he really liked the character, and he actually offered to get, um, breast implants to go along with the
Really?
like, actual yeah.
Yeah, because I
It was his
remember.
idea.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, then that's good,
So,
and maybe that's why he was so good at it because he liked it. So
yeah, he definitely I mean, he was getting paid well, and
as he should.
he was, yeah, and he was a, a featured spot.
Yeah.
Goldust was big on all of that. He was,
Yeah.
you know, always the heel,
Yeah. And he was good at it. Yeah.
upper mid card.
Yeah. I mean, happy. Yeah.
Well,
Happy.
let's jump into the review now that we
Yeah.
got that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What
Let's
did
do
you
it.
think of I got some notes here. What did you think of, what did you think of, the Kev favorite, John Bradshaw, John Hawk Bradshaw,
Yeah.
uh, versus Savio in a strap match?
So like you said, I am a big John Bradshaw fan, mostly of his later days in his career. I think his character really turned out so well. He's such a great heel. That match though, I'm so skeptical. I don't know what it is, but those kind of what's the terminology used when you're talking about a kind of match like that? Not a theme, but
A gimmick?
a gimmick. Thank you. I'm not a big fan of stipulation, gimmick, those kind of things where you're taking outside of the normal, regular, pinfall or submission, kind of, and then you're totally throwing that out the window and using, you know, the the freaking belts or whatever. What are they?
They're straps.
Straps. Thank you. I didn't know what the actual. Yeah, and then to touch the four posts, I just wasn't a big fan. And to start the show off, I don't know. I think you're watching through it, and you're just kind of almost like, let's just get it over with. There's so many spots that you can do. You're really limited. Now that I think about it, in action. So out of 5, I would probably give it a 2. I just wasn't impressed. I just didn't get into it.
Really?
Yeah, I just couldn't.
You like the finish though? I thought the finish was good.
Yeah, and then I like the back and forth, and they're so close to getting that fourth post. And from what I remember, at least, it was okay. But even still, I was kind of glad it was over. Maybe if I go back and watch it again, yeah, I don't know.
No, it was middle of the road. It was good for who it was for. You know what I mean? There's a big there's only so much you can do with a strap match or a
That's what I'm
pool
saying.
match.
Yeah, you can't.
So, and they all have to have some similar finishes, or else you bury the guy. Like if you touch all 4 posts and he's laying there, you've buried him. He's done. There's no point in that guy. You hit him with the cowbell 6 times, and then you won.
That's it. That's the thing.
And, right. So I mean, that's kind of why I like dog collar matches a little bit more.
I remember that.
Because then they're just tied to each other. There's no, it's still pinfall or submission, but you can only get 8 feet from the guy. There's no running. It's kind of cool. All right. Well, moving on. Yeah, we're in the same boat.
Okay.
So far,
so too, around the middle.
I got Jim Cornette as money. I think that man deserves all kinds of money. He gets on the mic, starts talking about Jose Othario being so old in school he didn't even have history.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, there was some other good one-liners in there, but that's a throwaway. That's just beat up the heel, pin him. It's a let-up match. It's a comedy match. Back before they had divas, because they kind of stuck divas in that role.
True. That is true. Yeah, that's true. But it had its purpose. I agree. It did have its purpose, and Jim Cornette is pretty amazing.
I wrote how about the promo? How do you feel about Brian Pillman? That's probably the first time you've ever seen Brian Pillman.
I've only seen clips, and to be honest, I can't even remember the promo. Maybe I didn't even see it. You have to forgive me.
No, it was kind of weird. It's him calling out Bret the Hitman Hart and talking about, but Bret was in South Africa on a tour.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was supposed to wrestle him at the Mind Games, which I don't know. Bret wasn't even there. He was shooting Lonesome Dove and only came back because they paid him a bunch of money to go to South Africa.
Typical Bret Hart.
Anyway, so it's like this. I wrote. Here's what I wrote. Pillman is a goof. Because he's just goofy. He's out there. He's like doing the cheap heat. He's booing people. He calls them all slobs and
Yeah.
sycophants and illiterate scum and all this stuff. He's just, he's healing it up. So I
Yeah.
just wrote he's a goof. And I wrote Owen Hart needs an acting class
Oh, he
because
didn't do
that
good
man.
either? Oh, wow.
No,
Oh,
it was kind of draggy. Like
yeah.
not he was dressed in drag, but like just dragged on and
Right.
and he limped his way through it. Like he's like, and Brett is my brother, but if Brett's my brother, then he's still my brother. And you're like,
You're so good at this.
man, let's maybe script his part.
Yeah, right. Somebody
Well,
write. Yeah.
right, and I'm not talking ill of him because the
No,
man
no,
was,
no.
I mean, fantastic, awesome worker,
Yeah.
just champion winner. But and then I wrote, and then it's Steve Austin before the glass break. It's so awkward 'cause he comes
Yeah.
out Stone Cold Steve Austin, head bob,
Uh-huh.
vest,
Talking to
walking
himself.
out tough,
Yeah.
but he has the damn ringmaster ring
I hate
music, which
that.
is like,
Yeah.
bum, bum,
Yeah, it doesn't
bum,
match.
bum, you know?
Yeah. It doesn't
No,
work. Yeah.
no, you dopes.
Now let's go back to Brian Pillman real quick. So,
Go ahead.
are you was your um what you've observed and everything you know about him, and I think we know that I think that he's a good performer overall. Did you appreciate how did you like that he was the way he did it, or was it kind of just like his
No, I liked it. I thought
okay,
I thought it hit the nail on the head. I mean,
nice,
I'm sure Vince was like, "Hey, we can't have this match, but people paid to see you.
yeah,
We're gonna send you out and have you talk trash."
and he did a good
And so
job
he
of
went
doing
out
it.
there and he did what he had to do. But I think he
Okay,
was also hurt at the time. I don't think his ankle was healed all the way. He had crashed a Humvee. He got all doped up on
really,
some pills and was driving real fast and wrecked his Humvee. And this was like right after they hired him.
oh my gosh,
And then he breaks his ankle and his wrist and gets all beat up. And then they they still hired him, and he still came in and cut promos and stuff.
yeah,
But no, he did fine. Pillman did good on that.
good, okay. I kind of wanted to make sure, yeah, because I can't
The-
really remember. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, the goof comment wasn't a slight. It was like he was just being goofy.
right.
He,
That's
called
where I
him
wanted to.
scum and
Okay. So he did good at doing it though. Okay. I got you.
yeah.
That's what I wanted to make sure. Okay. Make sure we're clear. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, what do we got next?
The next thing was the tag match, which was the Guns,
Yeah.
Smoking Guns,
Yeah.
versus the British Bulldog and Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did. And British Bulldog and Owen Hart both are phenomenal wrestlers. I don't really remember too much of the Smoking Guns. And for whatever reason, watching through it, it wasn't for me anything too spectacular. Maybe I hyped myself up about too much a little bit. Yeah. I couldn't feel the peak of the match, and then it kind of just ended. Um,
Yeah.
so
Kind of like
overall,
they didn't get out of second gear.
exactly, yeah, they did. They took
Yeah.
off maybe, started the match. You just never, and again, I could have overhyped it myself, but
I think that's pretty typical for a Guns match. As more we watch and you'll see the Guns, they kind of just didn't have that next gear.
yes,
I
yeah,
don't think Billy Gunn's ever had that next gear. Not that he's a
yeah,
terrible wrestler, but he
yeah.
just
He's bland.
um,
He is bland. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
In the
I
ring.
wrote the Smoking Guns snore.
Yeah,
That's
see,
what I wrote.
it's just like that's a perfect description. They just never got out of second gear. It just took off, and gosh, I don't even remember how it ended. I don't even remember the finish. Do you recall? I don't remember.
What did I write here?
I'm really trying to remember. I'm gonna look it up.
No, I don't. I think Bulldog and Owen won actually,
Did they?
and
Okay.
I think they won the titles. Yes, and I think the Bulldog does some sort of kip up into a front handspring
Oh.
deal, like for no reason.
Yeah.
He does a side headlock takeover and then does this shit. I just wrote athletic as fuck.
Athletic as fuck. Yeah, that's actually kind of the way you described it. Kind of impressive. Okay. So I think that kind of just explains itself. We can't even remember how it ended, and the fact that it's even a title change, that's kind of a shame. But
Yeah.
there you go. Okay.
And then excuse me. And then after that we have after the tag match we went to Undertaker and Goldust. We've kind of already talked about how that was kind of a weird match. I wrote silly.
Yeah.
Dustin looks out of shape.
Yeah.
and the powder spot looked stiff, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Could have he why didn't he throw the powder, like, up to where it made a scene? He just fucking
yeah.
hits
I do remember that, and
hits
it was
Taker with, like, a pound of glitter in the face, dude. It had to hurt. Had to hurt.
like a black guy from Powder.
Yeah.
That
He
I
literally got he still has gold dust in his eyes.
all these years later,
Yeah.
it was awkward, which is a shame.
Stiff.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know if the height different. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of strange. Now that you say that, um, and it's a shame because I really think had they done that again, that match would have been better than what it was. It was okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and they had a casket match that was a little bit better.
oh, they did together.
Yeah, they had
Oh,
and
really?
Goldust had a gold casket that he brought out and stuff.
It's a gold
That
casket.
might have been 90. That might have been before this. This would have
Okay,
been, like, a few months prior.
and I feel like
And
um,
then
I was just gonna say I feel like Undertaker probably loses those matches more than wins them. I feel like I could be wrong on that.
well, a lot of the times he'll win the match, and then a bunch of guys come out and jump him and throw
And
him
push
in
him
the
into the.
casket.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Basically, by the end of it, he's usually in the casket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, weird chokeslam spot, or odd chokeslam spot. And if you go back and watch the finishes, Goldust gets up on the top rope, Undertaker's blind but coming out of it, and Undertaker turns around and grabs him by the, oozling,
Yeah.
and then goes to the chokeslam off the top rope, brings him around, and Goldust lands on his feet and then falls back.
Oh, yeah. It
So
wasn't clean. He was
it was
protecting.
just odd. I don't know if,
Yeah.
he was protecting himself, or maybe he thought Undertaker wanted to pull him down and then choke slam him, and
Oh,
Undertaker
I
just
see.
you know.
And it could have been that.
But
Yeah, miscue. Yeah,
and then
the
after
impact
that, he
wasn't
hit him
there.
with
Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, the thing is, he takes a hard back,
Well,
but he doesn't get any height.
yeah.
So odd.
Yeah. That makes it
And,
even worse.
And then we got from that, we get the tombstone, which was a great tombstone. Looks like he dropped him right on his neck. Not
That's always nice.
drop people on their neck for it, but you know what I mean.
Right.
And then, so then we go into the main event, and right before that, we have this awful promo. That HBK promo makes no sense to me.
Yeah. There was a lot of discussion with that I've seen. The things that he said, he tried too hard. I feel like, and it felt like it dragged on for a while. Ugh. Yeah.
I don't know if he was, the man's obviously changed in the last 20 some odd years, but I don't know if he was pilled up.
Drugged.
I don't know if he was pissed off and didn't want to do a promo.
Yeah.
Because he's been known to do stuff like that.
Interesting.
But he's like, I don't know if he just wasn't into the story, and so he didn't have the heart for it. I don't know. It was odd. Very odd.
Yeah. He forced. You could definitely tell throughout he was forcing it. And some of the words I should have wrote it down, and I apologize. There was something that he had said that struck me too, but I can't remember what it was. Something about if he had minds to begin with, or something, because it was in mind games. Something like that. Yeah. It was. I agree. The promo was awkward all around, and usually HBK, he's a showman. Usually he comes natural with it,
and he's like
natural.
in the back, and he's like fixing stuff. And he's just like looking around at like catering and looking around, and he's like, and HBK can wrestle with everyone. I have the mind for wrestling, and I can outsmart everyone. But you don't even know what's going on in Mankind's head. Does he have a brain? Is he just crazy? How can you wrestle crazy? And you're like,
that's what it was.
It's
like he had an
that's
idea.
Not selling me on shit, John Michael.
Exactly. He had an idea. He was trying to roll with it. It just didn't work. Yeah, it wasn't as great as. Yeah.
Right.
Now Mankind's
Other than
promo,
that,
and I think it was that show, or maybe I'm thinking of something outside of it. I think he did a great job. If I'm thinking of if it was in this pay per view, he had a promo, didn't he? And I feel like he did his typical losing it kind of thing, and eye contact's not there, and he's almost like talking to himself, and usually breaks down. I don't know. I like how he does his promos as Mankind. He's a nut. He's crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah. Mick Foley's probably the most underrated wrestler of all time,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Yes.
Truly, he
Yes.
really is. This match is great. He takes a hell of a suplex onto his ankle on the
Yeah.
steps.
Yeah.
That's such a crazy inventive spot. Like
And it was loud too.
usually, yeah, that had to hurt.
Yeah. Oh
And then
yeah.
they do the leg work,
Yeah. To begin with.
and then Sean working over it, trying to break his hand so he can't do
Man.
the mandible claw.
Yes. The
That's
psychology
killer.
there was awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
And
remember
then
this?
there's a spot there. Go ahead.
No, I want to hear what you're going to say. I'm hoping it's the same spot.
Oh, I was just gonna say the spot where he jumps on the pad. He pulls the pads up.
Oh
He's
yeah.
gonna give him a pile driver on the spot on the concrete.
Yeah.
Sean gets down, super kicks him, and
Some,
then throws the pads over him and just
yeah,
starts
he's under.
jumping on this man.
Yeah. Like I've never
Yeah.
seen something like that. Yeah. Yeah. On top, he's under the pads and he's getting jumped on. Yeah. Never seen something like that.
Mick has a podcast, Foley's Pod, and he was talking about this match, and I listened to it, and he was saying that he told Sean, like, they like you, but they're gonna love you when they see you got a mean streak. You need a mean streak,
That's awesome.
and so we got to make you look like you're whatever. And he brought it out. He did some good shit for Sean.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah,
You remember the spot where I don't know how mankind got into it, but his neck got stuck between the ropes.
yeah.
Sean went to go for him, and he just hits the man with a claw. Like here you are, you're getting choked, you can't breathe, but you're gonna hit the man with a claw right there. At it. I love that.
Oh
spot.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, the psychology was so neat. He was working his legs, and all of a sudden he transit like probably after he got hit with the man with a claw at least once. Yeah, Sean all of a sudden starts working on his hand, stomping on his hand, and doing all kinds of work, and it's just like that even in something with my perspective, the limited knowledge of how wrestling works, I think is an amazing psychology.
Very
And
smart.
yeah, and I don't know if it was Vince or whoever was commentating, but I feel like they even did a good job, highlighting the fact that he's working on his hand, and that's the hand that he tries to use for the mandible claw, and so all of it was just it was brilliant. Yeah.
How do you feel about Vince's commentary? That's probably the first you've ever heard of it, other than clips.
Yeah, other than clips, exactly. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm used to seeing him as the big boss man, always in the back, and then here he is. His voice, I like his voice, and really he does do a good job. But sometimes I think he tries to take too much control over a match when he's calling it. Um, there was a term he said a lot. And I don't know if it's
Maneuver.
What
a maneuver!
No, oh, now that you say that, yes, I can hear that in my head now a million times. It's something. It was a word that is kind of silly to say. I'm not going to think of it, but I feel like sometimes he does have limited catchphrases. I suppose, like "What a maneuver!" I don't know. Overall, I think he does a good job. He probably has a lot on his head during matches too. Outside of just being a commentator, yeah. He's probably worried a lot. But
Well, yeah.
yeah. But I don't know. He's okay. What I mean, your opinion? What do you think of him as a commentator back then?
I think Vince is funny as a commentator. Back then, I'm sure I didn't really listen to the commentary. You know what I mean? As a kid, you're just watching the cool moves, and I'm probably wrestling my brother instead of actually watching.
Yeah.
Going back and rewatching it as a grown man who is a fan of wrestling, I appreciate Vince for the comedy and the entertainment of it. But he's no Jim Ross or anything.
Yeah. Those are one of a kind. What do you think of? Not to go too far out of bounds here, but what do you think of Taz? I always liked Taz as a commentator. His voice was so unique, and he really got me pumped up. Because same thing when I was younger and watching it, I didn't really focus too much on what they say, but I just hear Taz's voice and I just miss it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You liked it too.
I think Taz was good. Speaking of Taz, we skipped over the entire ECW guys.
Oh,
messing his edge on them.
Yeah, at the beginning. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So again, my limited knowledge, I know that they were trying to incorporate the two organizations together. You have, anything you can tell us about how that all went down and what the purpose of it was?
From what I know, I guess Paul Heyman was trying to get more exposure, and the best way to get exposure is to do the biggest company, the biggest company in the world.
Yeah.
And so he just started talking to Vince and them, and he said, "Hey, let me have a couple of your guys. Maybe you can use a couple of my guys." I think they had RVD on Raw a couple times, and they had maybe Tommy Dreamer come over and do a match. And it was just Vince helping ECW out. And then if a guy needed to train a little bit to come back, or if he was injured, or Vince would send them some people to get a little exposure down there. And it was just a good little partnership that they had. I know that in this instance, from listening to a few different podcasts, that they didn't smarten the boys up. They didn't tell JBL and they didn't tell Savio Vega. They just said, "Go work your match." Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so they go do it, and the spot happens, and apparently Bradshaw was ready to climb over the rail and get after it.
Which I'm not surprised.
And so Bruce Pritchard tells the story, and he's like, "Paul, I need you to, I need to send out a word. If something gets crazy,
Yeah.
what are we going to do if these guys start throwing, live rounds out there?" And Paul Heyman goes, "If you want us to leave, if it's getting too hot and you want us to leave, we'll have a code word. You send somebody out to me, they say the code word, I'll get my guys and we'll leave." And so he's like, "All right, what's the code word?" And he's like, "Pumpernickel. You send somebody out, they'll say it to me and I'll bail." All the stuff starts going on, and Sandman wasn't supposed to throw the beer on him.
Oh,
They were supposed to
really?
just Yeah, they were supposed to just, like, shoot the shit, jaw at each other,
Oh wow.
yell, kinda interrupt, get a little whatever, throws the beer on him, they go back and forth, and then so Bruce Pritchard tells a story that he's in the back and he's going crazy, and he's like, "Somebody get out there and tell Paul Heyman, fucking pumpernickel, pumpernickel, pumper." So this man's yelling pumpernickel through the headset at all these agents and stuff to go out there and try to get the ECW guys out of there, but that's kind of a funny story.
That is actually, and it's actually really interesting all around. Paul Heyman is a freaking genius. But that's awesome that Vince was, willing to work with them.
Yeah.
It probably didn't turn out the way he wanted it to, the pumpernickel scene, but it's pretty
Right,
cool.
right.
So
So
thank you.
you
Yeah, thank you.
Right, so to finish out, you did not like the finish, you liked the whole match up to the finish.
It's just a shame. Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about HBK and Mankind.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame it didn't finish, and maybe there was a purpose for it. And certainly, you think about it, and it does make sense. That I don't know. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but it is. I'm always one. Even today, I can't stand when even if it's a heel, when they win because it's outside interference or because they're able to. It's good in some ways, but it seems like it happens all the time. But certainly in a match like that, it just for me is a shame that it couldn't finish as an actual pinfall, submission, count out, whatever. It would be
Right.
awful to count out, especially the championship. Yeah,
I think it was to keep them both strong. You
yeah,
got Mick Foley going into a Buried Alive, so if he loses to Shawn Michaels, who's smaller than The Undertaker, well, is he gonna beat The Undertaker? And then if you beat your champion with the guy who pulls his own hair out and makes pig noises, is he gonna do okay against, Bret Hart or Vader or somebody even bigger?
yeah, yeah.
So you kinda gotta so I guess the Schmaz finish was good. They sent Vader out because Vader and Shawn have been having a feud.
Yeah. Which
That
makes
ends up
sense.
getting dropped because Vader wouldn't lose weight, true story. And then we got Sid Vicious as the champion because of
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. And he was a beast. Okay. So like I said, then there you go. I mean, again, on the perspective of it, someone like me who's just wanting to watch it, sees it and says, "Well, wow, that's crap. Why couldn't they just finish it?" But then you bring up the really good points that, well, there's a balance here. If we're going to set up for a big match with Undertaker, and you put him over, I don't know if Shawn Michaels wins that easy, then is this really going to be that great of a match between Undertaker and Mankind? So
Right.
good points, excellent, good points. So overall, I'd still give it 4.5, 5 stars. It just was
Yeah.
there was no I couldn't see any botches. I didn't see any at least the way it looked. I didn't seem like anything was miscalculated. Everything hit so well. The strikes on both guys. I knew Shawn
Oh,
Michaels.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, wow, Mankind really does have good strikes, or Mick Foley or whatever.
Yeah, Mick Foley's got good strikes.
Yeah.
He sells well.
He's amazing.
There's a spot in there that they played off of because at SummerSlam, which we'll watch eventually,
Mhm.
Vader was supposed to miss a spot. Shawn supposedly had some sort of little hissy fit and was like, "Come on, you fat ass," and like kicked him in the
I
head.
heard about
Some people say that it was planned that way.
yeah.
Some people say that it wasn't. Some people said that it was just Sean being a dick. Vader's always said that Sean was an ass to him.
Mhm.
Sean's always said that, Vader needed to lose a little bit of weight and have his confidence and blah blah blah. So it's all been back and forth. But so Mick Foley told him like, why don't we play off that? And so there's a spot where Mick Foley's like slow to get Sean's about to do that springboard crossbody where he kind of turns
Uh-huh.
and he goes and he jumps on the ropes, but Mick Foley's not there, so he jumps down, he walks over, he kicks him in the head, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Come on!"
See,
That was all set up.
okay, and
That
I
was
heard,
all
yeah, and I read into that because I was kind of wondering about that, but I didn't understand the backstory that you had just explained, so that makes a little more sense. So that's interesting that they put that in that map. But yeah, apparently a lot of people knew about that. I, of course, did not. So.
right. Well, see, and now you learned it. Now you know. If anyone ever asks, you can tell them. I just made that buzzing noise. That sucks.
Yeah, no, actually,
But now
it's
you can tell them.
yeah, and now I have the knowledge thanks to Burning Success Wrestling Podcast.
A
What is
wrestling
so
podcast.
wrestling podcast? And I think so. You said you gave it like a 5, 4.5, 5, or something like that.
Well, without with the finish being what it was, probably 4.
Yeah. Yeah, because it would have been nice to see how they would have finished. And if let's say Shawn Michaels win, does he win just by his super kick, his sweet chin music? If Mick Foley wins, is it the double arm DDT or is it the mandible claw? That's where you miss that piece in a finish. How would they have finished? Finish is so important to me in a match. So. But
Right.
man,
Oh, and the spot where Mick Foley sells the sweet chin music like it's death. He's like going to get up, Sean's stomping, he dives. He literally dives out of the ring.
ring. I have to
Hits
see it again.
hits the apron, rolls down, and starts
Oh, that's
rocking.
right.
He asks for the
Yeah,
that
that's
puts
right.
so much.
Yeah.
That gives that move so much credibility.
Yes.
That this man that's willing to, he hadn't yet, but to take all the stuff that he takes, have his ear ripped off,
Yeah.
all these different moves, and that sweet chin music's just, he knows it's going to put him down for 3 counts. So he's got to get the hell out of there.
That's awesome.
Smart.
Yeah,
Very
it is
smart.
smart. Absolutely. Yeah, love that.
So to wrap it all up, we got you and I both thought the main event. We love the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't care for the overall show. But now you've seen some 96, so we'll start showing you some more 96, maybe some 97, and you can see that you'll see a vast change in a year
Okay.
over this. So, but let's get ready to wrap this up a little bit because people are probably tired of hearing us talk and definitely tired of me grabbing this fucking microphone.
You didn't grab it as much as you think. You're fine.
All right. But so what month do you want to do next? What's your
month you said? So, and we're saying the next year or so from 96 to 97.
I'm gonna pick a random year off the top of my head.
Yeah.
99.
Okay.
Don't know why.
Let's start right from the beginning.
Now you
January.
pick a month.
Let's do January.
January of 99. That's going to be No Way Out, maybe.
No Way Out.
February.
I'm gonna look it
99. Is it Over the Edge? No, that's in May or June.
Oh, whoops! I forgot to put.
King of the Ring would have been May. I'm not gonna remember what 99. 99 February would have been St. Valentine's Day Massacre. In February,
it was.
That'd have been early February.
Yeah,
February 12th.
Yeah, 14th. You were right. You're close.
Oh, it was actually on the 14th. Okay.
On February. Yeah.
Was there one in January?
There was actually 2, and you're going to beat yourself up on the one. Oh wait, no, that's probably the second one is probably not a pay-per-view. I don't know what so January 31st, something called WWF Halftime Heat. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's a 30-minute. That was just a 30-minute non-commercial on the halftime of the Super Bowl.
They would. Okay, that was a good idea. Nothing else to watch during the Super Bowl. Why not get some people over in you'll beat yourself up at what the January pay-per-view was though for 1999. And I can understand. Rumble? It is the Royal Rumble. Yes. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
The 99's an okay Royal Rumble.
Okay.
So we're gonna watch the 99 Royal Rumble. Then.
That'll be fun. Our first Royal Rumble. Yeah. That'll be actually really cool.
Have you ever seen the 99 Royal Rumble?
I can't recall. I don't remember it. Couldn't. Do you remember who won it?
I do.
I want to see if so. It was 3 hours long.
Yep.
It's crazy to remember it. Uh, hold on. Really?
Vince McMahon.
It was Vince McMahon. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How do you know that? Why do you know that? Why was it Vince McMahon? Final four was Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Big Boss Man, D'Lo Brown. So it was, and that was the Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin feud, which was always awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What did he do when he won it? Was that? I mean, '99. You win the Royal Rumble, you still get to go to WrestleMania for whatever championship, or was that before that stipulation?
Yeah. No. That's still the
Was it?
stipulation.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
It was just a, it's just Vince being Vince.
Yeah.
He didn't want Austin to be in his main event 2 years in a row. It'd have been 14 and
Okay.
15.
Fair. Well, not fair.
So WrestleMania 15's killer too.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah.
We should
Royal
probably.
Rumble 99 is also The Rock versus Mankind, isn't it?
Now that was a good match. I do remember that one. Let's see here.
Rock versus Mankind, I Quit.
Wait a minute.
You don't have to look.
Yep. Rock versus Mankind, I Quit. Rock defeats Mankind to win the title. Yeah. Is that the one where they just voiced over his voice on the mic that he said I quit?
Wow, spoiler alert. Maybe people haven't seen it, dude.
Sorry. We'll edit that part out. Are you impressed that I knew that though?
24 years? Yeah, I am. I think me and you actually watched that before.
And maybe that's why. Yeah.
It's possible.
Because let's be honest, you can't have Mankind say I quit. That doesn't make any damn bit of sense.
No. Great match, though. Decent match.
I don't know.
That was The Rock was wearing a shirt because he had titties.
Titties. So was that the heel Rock at that time? Or was he the face?
Oh, yeah.
Heel. Okay.
No, that was the corporation's Rock.
That's right. And that's why
that was the corporate champion.
Yeah.
People's.
And that was pretty awesome. That whole run. Especially involving Stone Cold Steve Austin.
All right. Well, then we will watch and review that. And our next episode will be Royal Rumble 1999.
I look forward to that. That's going to be awesome. I'm glad our next one's going to be.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one, and we'll compare it to like the production and all the quality and the different, Vince not being on commentary. It would be cool to talk about.
That's a good idea. Transition from this one. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Excellent. I want to quickly just look at what other matches we got. Okay.
Royal Rumble 99, you're going to have the Hardys versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys.
Wow, that'd be interesting. I don't see that.
No,
I don't think. Yeah,
that was probably 2000.
Was that a normal match or was it like a TLC match or something? Or
I think it was just a ladder match before they did the TLC.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's what I meant. A ladder match. Yeah.
What is the tag match?
So the tag match is. It's not coming up. Maybe it is, and it just didn't. They have Intercontinental Championship, which was Ken Shamrock and Billy Gunn. Then the European Championship, which was X-Pac beats Gangrel. Then the Women's Championship strap match. Oh, the strap was that? I guess the same thing as the.
I guess I don't remember that.
Sable Veets. I don't know who this is. Luna Vachon.
Luna Vachon.
Vachon. I don't know who that is. Yeah, Luna Vachon. And then outside of the Royal Rumble was the WWF I Quit match. I don't see a tag match, which makes sense because you only got 3 hours and a third of it is your Royal Rumble, and the I Quit match I'm sure was probably 40 minutes long.
All right. Well, we will review that next episode.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Actually, that's going to be a good one.
That'll be a good one.
All right, buddy. Yeah. Well, I think we knocked it out of the park on this one. I think our quality's better. I think our backgrounds are nice.
Your mic is perfect. You've got it's that perfect as a podcast. Mine, I don't know if you can hear it, but mine sounds like I'm talking in like a snare drum. It's buzzing
a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't hear buzzing.
Okay,
I don't hear buzzing, but it does sound like it sounds like you're further away from the mic than you should be. Maybe.
Does this sound better? Oh, that does sound better.
That sounds so much better.
Dang. So I got to either put my face. Hello. I'll have to figure that out. Is it bad? This isn't too bad. I'd rather the sound be better than what the video looks like. I'll have to remember this.
Yeah. That's what I've been worried about this whole time is that I've had it right up in my face, and you
Oh,
can't really
well,
see me.
I guess I didn't really
But
notice. So
but if I'm
yeah,
right here, you can still hear me, but I sound further
it's
away.
really soft. Yeah, you sound far away. Yeah.
So I like being right up on that
Yeah,
thing.
I think this is more important. I think our sound quality is more important. So,
Yeah.
because the way I imagined it, we could either do a video like, so the podcast obviously will be the whole podcast, but if I put on YouTube, I was either thinking of like, so let's, how this went on for an hour and 10 minutes. So we could do like, I don't know, 30 minutes of just highlights videos and then a link to the podcast, or just do the whole podcast video. Or honestly, we could do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do
We
a,
can do both.
yeah, streamline video and then the whole podcast video. But regardless, obviously the podcast will be. So next time I'll just try to remember to be kind of just close up and this does sound
Right.
better. Yeah, dang.
But
We
that's
don't
all
have to
right.
go.
Hey,
Yeah,
we're gonna jump into it.
yeah.
We'll do
So,
it.
do you want to also try to do like an intro outro sort of thing? Is that cheesy? I don't listen to podcasts too much, so I don't know.
No, it's not cheesy. We can do an intro outro,
Mhm.
I guess, but honestly, I'm kind of on a time crunch. I have to go now. Can we shoot
Oh
it
yeah,
tomorrow?
yeah. Not now. I would just run in the future because I got a mixer
Yeah.
thing on here. So maybe
I
let me
prefer
put
I prefer the outro to be like we're just like, all right, man, that's been a good one. Yeah,
and
we'll
then
get it, and then it ends. The intro is makes sense, but an
yeah,
outro to me is like we've said it, so
yeah,
nobody's gonna listen to
just
it. If there's an outro, I cut it off.
yeah.
To be honest,
Okay,
and I
yeah.
listen to a lot of podcasts, so.
Okay, so we won't focus on the
But the
outro.
intro I like to hear because then it's them saying goofy shit.
Yeah.
So.
All
All
right,
right,
cool. Well, then I'll mess around with some things and see what you think. So okay, cool.
all right,
All right,
brother. Well, I do
this was
have
good.
to hop off here, but I've had fun.
Yeah, this was fun. I'm glad we redid this, and then we got to do our second podcast
Yeah.
too. So real quick, then we're going to do Josh tomorrow, or is that
No, Josh texted me and said that he can't do it.
okay? Do you just you and I then tomorrow, or are we just rescheduling all together, or
Let me see how let me see how Paisley's gymnastics goes, but
yeah?
I'd like to film something. Maybe Alyssa can film with us tomorrow too,
Okay,
and we can do
yeah,
her interview.
awesome. Yeah,
Or
bring her
because I'm
in.
not gonna have time to watch the Royal Rumble,
Yeah, that's 3 hours. Yeah, between now and
so
tomorrow.
we can we can fit those in over the weekend, and then
Yeah,
you can
edit.
release them however you want.
Okay,
Edit and
cool,
release them however you want.
cool.
All right, brother, man.
Cool.
You have a
This
good
was
night.
awesome. Yeah, you too, man. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I had fun. I had a
Yeah,
lot
this
of
was
fun.
fun. I'm glad we're doing this. All right, see you
Me
guys.
too.